Still on the subject of growth mindset, I watched the previous video back and I felt like there were some things that were left out. See this as a continuation of that discourse. So if you've not seen the previous video, do check it out. Again, I'll give you the definition of the fixed mindset. So the fixed mindset is acknowledging your capacity and your limitation. So defining yourself based on your capacity and limitation, seeing those virtues as fixed. This is who I am. This is what I can do, and this is where I am. Fixed. While the growth mindset is acknowledging your situation, but recognizing potential for growth. So this is where I am now. This is what I can do now. But I understand as a professional, if I take a certain pathway, if I walk for a long enough time frame, it's only a matter of time before I become someone else. So that's a growth mindset. Very recently, I was consulting for a very big firm. I would not say his name publicly, but their value is, and they're an intermediary to drivers and passengers. You understand what I'm talking about? So those kind of platforms who mediate drivers and passengers, unfortunately, they struggled to get customers. And when I went there, I made it clear that your app is shit. Why? Because you guys have taken the wrong approach and you focus on one set. Unfortunately, your platform or your service is interdependent. The drivers, you as the intermediary, and the passengers, you can't have one without the other. So alienating one sector or appealing to one sector in an attempt to gain market share is abysmal. If there are no drivers, customers cannot be served. If there are no customers, drivers cannot find expression. If you don't exist, the platform to bring drivers and passengers would be non-existent. So your service, I've said too much, but that was the prerequisite level of discussion. So we went into all of XYZ. It was a very powerful meeting. I really enjoyed myself in solving that problem. But that's how it went. On my way home, at the back of a Toyota, I sat thinking, you're an imposter, you're black, remember XYZ, you don't deserve to be here, it's only a matter of time before they find out. Yes, you solved the problem today. How about tomorrow? They've made you XYZ, you've been handed an office, you chair XYZ position. But what happens when they discover who you are? And all of those thoughts running through my mind. And I said to myself, please understand I'm being as vulnerable as possible. I said, that is whom I used to be. That is the person I decided to no longer become. That is the person I decided to kill. And please understand, I'm being vulnerable. Most people make it appear as though they were always confident, they were always rich, they always had the right mindset as touching life and destiny. Yes, I was persistent. Yes, I worked as hard as possible. Yes, I refused to give up. But one place I was lacking is the mindset. Understanding this in and of itself would save you endless amounts in therapy. Because for some people, that thought is enough for them to spiral downwards. And I've taught you about belief. Belief leads to action. Action produces outcome. Outcome defines your reality. And humans feed based off experience. So if something happened once, if you truly believed you are an imposter and suddenly you get fished out, you lose the position. Faced with that kind of circumstance, you feel deja vu. It would happen again. And you're right. So belief is very important in that regard. Imposter syndrome is a consequence of a wrong mindset. Wrong mindset, not wrong person. Wrong mindset. So yeah, before we wrap up, let me say this kind of mindset only appears when you've done something good. Once you've done something counter to the initial narrative. So once you achieve a certain level of XYZ, all of these thoughts purge you. So it's left for you to decide as a professional, this is no longer my experience. This is who I am now. That is whom I used to be. So append this to the previous video and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.